guys down. Good morning. Aningizwa. Ngithi good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just checking if we are all here and we remember why we're here and who we're representing. Menzi Ngubane. He would walk in a room in the middle of an afternoon and he would say, good morning, because he's just trying to check if we're all awake. When I first saw Menzi, obviously, like most of us in the room, it was through the television screen. And I remember saying to myself, I'll be damned if I don't work with that man. I knew it was part of my legacy, law of attraction, speaking it into the universe. I spoke working with Menzi into the universe. And when I started at Generations, I was there for 9 years, and I worked with him for the eight years that I was there. And my character was involved with a Kaya Modene character. And I kept on in my spirit just wondering, when is this Menzi thing gonna happen? I mean, I had done Soul City, I had paid Ayanda Ngubane, hello. And I'm like, it's a sign, right? When is this Menzi thing gonna manifest? When is it gonna happen? When am I gonna realize my dream? And one day the producers called me to the room. They hardly ever did that. And they said to me, we are bringing in a character. And this character is going to shake Generations. And not only that, he's going to turn Ndombi's life upside down. And I was like, yes! Great, fantastic. Who is it? They said Menzi Ngubane. I almost fainted because that was it. That was it. Manifestation happening right there in front of my eyes. And Menzi joined the production, and the producers were right. He did not only transcend and transform the industry with that character. Yes, he had many, but Spusiso had depth. Spusiso had character. Spusiso was a fighter. And there I was, working with Menzi. And yeah, they were right. He did turn Ndombi's life upside down. Because Ndombi's life on that screen was never the same again. And out of the 8 years that I've worked with Menzi, there's 8 lessons that I'm gonna highlight. Definitely not 8 things that I've learned from him, but 8 lessons that I've learned. Talent. I thought I knew talent. I had seen him on screen, yes. I had seen other actors and actresses, yes. And I've measured their level of their talent, yes, until I was one-on-one with Menzi Ngubane. You know, there's a scripture in Matthew, in the book of Matthew, where it says, a master left his servants because he was traveling, and he left them with talents. He gave the one servant 5 talents according to his capabilities. He gave the other one 2 talents according to his capabilities, and he gave the one 1 talent according to his capabilities. And as soon as the master left, the one servant went and traded 5 of his talents, and he gained 5 more. So he ended up with 10. And the other one traded his 2, ended up with 4. The one went and dug a ditch and hid his master's money. Now, talents at the time were measured in pounds. So it means that the one servant understood why he was there and why he was called. And that was Menzi. He used up all his talents. I actually even feel that we hadn't seen anything yet. That man was talent personified. I mean, if we were to go back into that time and measure his talents according to pounds, Menzi died a wealthy man. And we can't take that away from him. And I would like to urge all these young actors, thespians, take a book, take a page Take one page out of Menzi's book. You'll go far. Professionalism. It is described as practicing of an activity by a professional, not an amateur. I know it sounds pretty much like talent, right? But it's not. You can be talented, but you can be lazy. You can be talented, but you cannot show up. You can be talented and not make an effort at all. You can be talented and not only show up on time, but not show up at all. Menzi was a professional. No one was as professional as Menzi Ngubane on any set. Generations is not the only set that I worked with him. But he walked with that professionalism pride. I remember during those days, I was young. There was a club called Kilimanjaro, and it was the last night. They were shutting it down. I was like, this is my favorite spot. I'm going to go. Went to Kilimanjaro. Must have left the club at 5 a.m. Don't judge, guys. It was a long time ago. I left the club at 5 a.m. and I had to decide, do I go home, freshen up and go to work, or do I go straight to work? I was like, nah, just go straight to work. Call time was 7 a.m. Went to work, got into my changing room, went to wardrobe as they earlier, and they gave me anything that a wild girl would need. Freshened up, walked into my changing room, and I thought, I'm going to take a nap, and then I'm going to wake up for that 7 o'clock a.m. call time. I'm going to set an alarm. Then I hear shuffling and mumbling in the room next door to me. I'm like, but this is Menzi's room. So I look around for a weapon. I'm like, what? What can I find? I find an umbrella. Then I grab it and I go to war. I bang on Menzi's door. Boom, 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 boom. Who's there? Get out with your hands up. I heard giggling before he could even open the door. He opened the door and he said to me, Makuma, Pelegas, what are you doing? What are you going to do with that umbrella? The point I'm trying to make is that I was at work at 5:30. Menzi was there at 5 o'clock. While I was leaving that club, Menzi was at work, showing up. And you must understand that the guy's call time was always half an hour later. We were called early because of the makeup and stuff and hair. But Menzi was there. And I remember walking away feeling embarrassed. I'm like, wow, there I was leaving Club Kilimanjaro. And here's a guy showing up earlier than most. And that was not a once-off occurrence. Menzi was there consistently, first person to arrive, last person to leave. And that's what I've learned, professionalism. Generosity. I learned to be generous because of Menzi. I'm a Sagittarius, I should know about generosity. But Menzi's generosity was of a different kind. He was generous in spirit. That presence. That presence. I'm sure we all felt it. We all saw it. We all heard it. That's Menzi Ngubane. Strong in presence and will make his presence felt. Generosity. It was my first day in Generations. I had a scene with one of the characters. Menzi was going to join us halfway through the scene. Multicam. The cameras were focusing on me, on the other character. I fed. We call it feeding. Present. Being there, showing up. Then it was the other person's turn to feed me. And they didn't. They were looking at their nails. They were brushing their hair. And I still delivered those lines. And I remember walking out of that scene, Menzi grabbed me and said, Sonia, you, my dear, are going to go far. You remind me of me. Doesn't matter if you are there in the scene with me or not. I will be there and I will deliver what I'm supposed to deliver. There was a scene that we also shot, and Sibusiso had left Ntombi, and I say left, quote unquote, because he didn't divorce Ntombi. He left Ntombi. We all know that was going to be temporary, right? He left Ntombi for Karabo. And they bumped into each other in the lift, Ntombi and Sibusiso. And Sibusiso was supposed to say, Makumalo Ogahle. Ntombi, with pride, was supposed to say, I'm fantastic. But I decided to give it a switch a bit. And I remember losing my words in that scene. And the director thought I had forgotten my lines. And the director was reminding me of what I needed to say. And I remember Menzi and I said it at the same time. We looked up in the director's box and we both said, she's acting! Generosity. If you needed time to breathe, Menzi would give you that time to breathe. If you needed time to remember your lines, Menzi will buy you that time to remember your lines. That is the man that we worked with. Keeping to oneself, that's another lesson. Menzi would go into his changing room, get his script, learn his lines, and remain there. We had a green room. We had a tendency to go out there, hang out, pool table, guarana here and there, hang out. And I remember one day he walked into the green room, opened his locker, took his script. Somebody said, I think it was Tabiso Mukhetsi. He said, big guy, do you want to join us? Menzi said, nah. Who's going to be representing you all on screen if I'm here with you all playing games? Remembering why you are there. Remembering why you are hired at a job. Remembering who are you and what you need to be on screen. That's another thing I learned from Menzi. Fanatical. Menzi was fanatical. Let it be a weekend, there's a derby, Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs are playing. Lo and behold, Kaizer Chiefs loses. Menzi will walk in from the Henley entrance. It's about 50 meters long. He would walk in with his Pirates regalia, with his flag, and he'll be screaming down the passage, Baga Choo Choo. And it would be like that the whole day, scene after scene. We will be celebrating Amapaga Paga. Come the next day, Menzi shows up. Forgotten all about that. Mauti Paga Chuchu, aye.